Walk alone. Stay silent. Let those words hit you like cold water at 5 a.m. Sharp, shocking, undeniable. Because here is the truth no one wants to say out loud. The crowd that claps the loudest for you today will disappear the moment you stop entertaining them. And the dreams you whisper to people who get it will often die in their hands. Not because they're evil, but because they don't carry your fire. So tonight, or tomorrow at dawn, you walk. No announcement, no parade, no permission slips. Just you, your breath, your heartbeat, and the road. Tell me this, how much of your life have you given away to noise? Notifications trying to babysit your attention. Voices that never built anything telling you how to build everything. Rooms that felt crowded, yet you felt more alone inside them than when you're standing under an empty sky. You know that feeling. The ache of pretending you're okay because it's easier to be okay than to be honest. The fear of being misunderstood. The quiet decision you made at 2:17 a.m. to delete the photos, mute the chat, stop oversharing, and finally start keeping promises to yourself. That's the moment, the pivot point, where average ends and unstoppable begins. Not with a bang, but with a soft internal whisper. It's time. The world confuses silence with weakness. They call you distant, cold, changed. They'll say you think you're better. They'll say you're different. Good. Different is your doorway. Different is where the air is thin and the view is yours. You didn't come here to live on borrowed applause. You came to build a life that claps for itself because the work is real, the habits are real, the transformation is real. You don't need everyone to understand. You need to understand yourself. So let's build something today, a new rhythm where walking alone is not punishment, it's power. Where silence isn't empty, it's your private laboratory. Where the proof won't be in what you announce, but in what you repeat. Because the results, they will be the only microphone you ever need. Picture this. You wake before the sun. No heroic soundtrack, no montage. Just the sound of your feet touching the floor and a promise echoing in a room that used to witness procrastination. Today, I keep my word. The phone stays face down. The world can wait. The coffee steam rises. Your notebook opens. The first page is messy. That's okay. Great lives are sketched in pencil before they're written in ink. You outline the next 3 hours like a soldier preparing for a mission. Focused, simple, doable. No grand gestures, no flexes, only what matters. And then you go, quietly, like rain that soaks the ground without lightning or thunder, but still grows for us. The problem is, you've been taught to chase noise. Post it, tell them, show them. You learn to equate visibility with progress, when the truth is, progress often happens in the shadows, unseen, unliked, unshared. You mistook validation for direction. You mistook attention for respect. You mistook a crowd for a community. And every time you reached for the phone instead of the work, a small piece of your momentum leaked out. That leak becomes a flood. Days turn into months where you're planning, figuring it out, waiting for the perfect moment while your dream quietly starves. This is the pain behind the smile, the silent grief of self-betrayal. But then, the aha. It happens in awkward places, standing in an elevator with strangers, sitting on the edge of your bed, tying your shoes, or staring at your reflection in a gym bathroom under the hard fluorescent lights. You realize no one is coming to edit your excuses. No one is coming to out-discipline you on your behalf. No one is coming to clap you into a new life. The cavalry is not late. It's you. And that realization hurts and heals at the same time. Because if it's you, then you can begin. If it's you, then the door is already unlocked. If it's you, then silence stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a sanctuary. You've been waiting for the world to get quiet. It won't. So you decide to get quiet inside the noise. You become the still point in a spinning room. You become the person who builds while everyone else debates. Let me take you into the first chapter of this new season, the one where walking alone is a choice, not a sentence. You will look selfish. Good. Be self-devoted. That is not arrogance. That is alignment. You will lose people. Good. You're not losing. You're learning who's real. You will face days where nothing seems to move. Good. Patience is your new currency. Pay with it daily, because the person who can sit in silence and continue, the person who can walk in solitude and keep walking, becomes the person who can carry a vision across deserts. You remember the night the group chat exploded with weekend plans and you typed, maybe next time, then deleted it, then typed, I'm in, then deleted it again, and finally locked the phone because you knew where that road leads. You knew you'd spend money you don't have, wake up late, miss your morning window, and reset the cycle of tomorrow, but you also knew the price of saying no. FOMO, a sliver of loneliness, someone's sarcastic, bro, you never come out anymore. You let them talk. You let the quiet sting for an hour. And then you put on your shoes. You walked under a sky that didn't care about your social calendar. You felt the air in your lungs like a promise. You listened to your own steps, and for the first time in a long time, they sounded like leadership. This is where the transformation begins. When you choose the road over the room, when you choose the page over the post, when you choose the reps over the raves, when you choose to grow in the silence, other people are terrified to enter, because silence is a mirror showing you your patterns, your truths, your excuses, your gifts. It never lies, it never flatters, it never begs. And if you can learn to stand in front of that mirror without running, you will become someone you respect. You're going to be misunderstood. Let them misunderstand. You're going to be called boring. Be boring and relentless. You're going to feel invisible. Good. Invisibility is your training cloak. What you cannot see in the mirror yet, the world will not be able to ignore later. But the later only arrives if you stay faithful now, not someday, not when you feel like it, not when the weather is right. Now, in this breath. There's a lesson the loud world hides from you. Obsession and consistency look like madness at the start. The people you admire, the ones who turn dust into sculpture and seconds into symphonies, were not loved at the beginning. They were questioned. They were doubted. They were teased at dinner tables by cousins who couldn't grasp what couldn't be seen yet. And they didn't argue. They didn't write paragraphs to defend themselves. They went back to work. Quietly, patiently, daily. Their silence wasn't empty. It was preparation. Learn that. Live that. Protect that. Now, let's talk about the emotional journey you're about to walk. Not in theory, in blood and breath and mornings and nights. First, you must become the guardian of your attention. Your attention is a garden. Every time you scroll mindlessly, you plant weeds. Every time you sit with your notebook, your craft, your training plan, your study notes, you plant trees. Trees don't shout, they don't rush, they just grow. Your job is to protect the soil. That means no more announcing seeds before they sprout. No more telling people you're about to change everything. Plant, water, sunlight, repeat. Let them find out when they see the forest. Second, you must befriend boredom. Boredom is not the enemy, it's the bridge. The bridge between intention and identity is built with repetitive planks. Wake, work, walk, write, lift, study, stretch, sleep. Over and over. The world will offer fireworks. You will choose candlelight. Fireworks impress. Candlelight transforms. Fireworks are for crowds. Candlelight is for craftsmen. Light your candle. Guard it with both hands when the wind rises. Keep it burning when nobody is watching. That flame becomes your life. Third, you will practice radical boundaries. Not loud, dramatic, I'm cutting everyone off speeches. Quiet boundaries. A calendar that reflects your priorities. A bedtime that protects your morning. A home screen with fewer icons and more intention. A no sent respectfully and decisively. A conversation you decline because gossip tastes sweet and poison slow. You will feel the friction of choosing yourself in a culture that worships distraction. Wear that friction like armor. Every no to chaos is a yes to momentum. Fourth, you will learn the art of disappearing without leaving. You can be in the same house, the same city, the same job, and become unrecognizable because you let your habits pull you into a new frequency. You still smile. You're still kind. You're just not available for smallness. People will notice. Some will follow. Some will resist. Both reactions are information, not instruction. Keep walking. Fifth, you will speak with results. There will come a day when someone says, "You've changed." You'll nod. You won't argue. You'll let the day's work answer the questions. Your silence will not be cold. It will be precise. You will not flex. You will demonstrate. You will not brag. You will present evidence. Chapters turned, miles logged, pages filled, sales made, weights lifted, languages learned, skills acquired. Not perfect, not linear, just real. And reality beats rhetoric, always. I want you to imagine 1 week lived at 100% honesty with yourself. 7 days where your planner isn't a wish list, it's a contract. 7 days where you start small and repeat it mercilessly. You walk alone for 30 minutes, rain or sun. You keep your phone in another room during your deep work block. You eat like you respect your future. You journal the truth, not the performance. You finish what you start. At the end of those 7 days, you won't be fixed. You'll be found. You'll have proof that you can be trusted, and trust in yourself is the engine that will carry you across the next 90 days, the next 9 months, the next 9 years. But the moment you begin, the storms will begin too. Expect it. The algorithm won't reward your silence. The group may stop inviting you. The old cravings will knock at the door with 1,000 excuses dressed as reasons. You've been good. Take a break. You're not missing much. Scroll a little. You'll start again tomorrow. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. Today is the only country where miracles are granted visas. Stamp your passport. Enter fully. What happens when you don't get immediate results? When you work for 14 days and the mirror looks the same? When you apply for jobs or colleges or clients and the silence you chose is met with silence from the world? Here's what happens. You build anyway. You keep the promise anyway. You treat the dull days like sacred days because they are. The muscle grows in the reps, nobody films. The skill deepens in the drafts, nobody reads. The mind sharpens in the mornings, nobody praises. You were born to be faithful, not flaky. You were born to be steady, not trending. You were born to be a builder, not a broadcaster of intentions. There's a story I need you to hold. A young woman decides to stop explaining herself to people who only wanted the entertainment of her struggles, not the responsibility of her success. She stopped oversharing. She stopped auditioning for empathy. She switched to early mornings and long walks. The first month was lonely. The second month was quiet. The third month, her stride changed. Her words slowed. Her eyes steadied. Friends asked, "Are you okay?" She smiled and said, "Better than okay." They couldn't see it yet, but she could feel it. The roots were gripping the soil. Another story. A guy who had always needed the crowd's approval stopped going to the places where his identity was rented by the hour. He returned the costume. He started lifting at dawn, reading on lunch breaks, taking night classes no one knew about. He deleted the apps he used to impress strangers. He stopped making declarations, started making deposits. He didn't quit the scene with a dramatic post. He simply went quiet. 2 years later, nobody recognized him. Not because he disappeared from the map, but because he finally appeared in his life. This is the long game, and it is going to test you. People will demand access to chapters they refused to read while you were writing them. They'll say you forgot them when they never remembered you. They'll knock just when your focus is getting warm, and you need to decide. Will you let yesterday dictate today again, or will you hold the line? Will you defend your momentum like a mother defends her child? Will you choose the walk over the welcome, the silence over the spectacle, the promise over the party? You are not heartless for choosing distance. You are not arrogant for choosing discipline. You are not rude for choosing recovery. You are not boring for choosing mastery. You are not invisible for choosing patience. And you are not lost for choosing to walk alone. You are found. Look at your calendar. The next 90 days are not just dates. They are a corridor. At the end of that corridor is a door with your name on it. A version of you that is calmer, stronger, quieter, truer. To reach it, you will carry 3 tools: your feet, your focus, your faith. Feet, because motion beats mood. Focus, because attention is the superpower, and yours is no longer for sale. Faith, because the results will come late, and you must continue early. You will be tempted to measure progress by trophies. Don't. Measure by traction. Traction is the invisible math that makes miracles look like accidents. It's what happens when you string together 12 ordinary mornings in a row. It's what happens when you drink water instead of excuses, when you read 10 pages instead of arguments, when you do the next right thing without a witness. Traction is quiet. Traction is stubborn. Traction is the difference between I hope and I am. And yes, you'll have setbacks. Days when your legs are heavy and your mind is fog. When you eat with your feelings and the old apps find their way back to your thumb. On those days, you will choose the smallest possible win. You will not punish yourself with dramatic vows or performative guilt. You will walk for 10 minutes. You will write 1 paragraph. You will drink a glass of water and take a shower. And remember that clean slates are a daily habit, not a New Year's event. You will forgive yourself quickly and return to the road. The road forgives fast. The road doesn't care what you posted. It only cares that your feet are moving. You want to know why walking alone works? Because companionship is beautiful, but agreement can be dangerous. The wrong agreement keeps you small. The right disagreement sets you free. When you walk alone, you argue with yourself honestly. You negotiate with your laziness. You refuse your fear. You cross-examine your excuses until the only thing left standing is action. And action, quiet, consistent action, rewrites identities. You are not trying to be disciplined. You are becoming a person for whom discipline is normal. You're not trying to get healthy. You are a healthy person moving through your day. You're not trying to start a business, learn a skill, write a book. You are the person who does those things in small chunks every day until the day arrives when the project introduces itself to the world with its own voice. There will be a morning when your silence isn't heavy anymore. It's light, it's oxygen. You'll sit at your desk and notice your spine is straight, your jaw is loose, you're breathing deep. You'll catch yourself smiling for no reason. That's not luck, that's alignment. That's the sound of a life that finally fits. That's what happens when you stop stuffing yourself into rooms that can't hold your future. The discomfort you feel now is not loneliness, it's expansion. You are growing into someone your past cannot interpret. People will ask, what changed? You'll say, everything, and it started small. You'll talk about the first week you went to bed on time, the first time you turned down a night out, not because you were broke, but because you were building. The first morning you walked when it rained. The first day you told the truth in your journal. The first moment you didn't broadcast the move. You just made it. These are your stones across the river, step by step, quietly, faithfully, joyfully even, on the days when joy feels like a rebellion. And now I'm going to ask you to do something uncomfortable. I want you to commit, not publicly, not performatively, just between you and you. Commit to a season of silent execution. Commit to the work that will not be witnessed, the miles that will not be mapped, the pages that will not be posted. Choose a lane and stay there long enough for the road to recognize your name. Become the person who does not over-explain, overshare, or over-promise. Become the person who under-announces and over-delivers. Become the person whose presence is felt because the output is real. You will crave comfort. Lucky you, comfort left the chat. You will crave a cheer squad. Good news, the road will clap with every step you refuse to skip. You will crave a shortcut. Here's the truth. The long way is the shortcut. The long way is where you learn how to carry your dream without dropping it in a storm. The long way gives you roots and range and resilience. The long way makes the win sustainable. Take it. Imagine the day the silence breaks, because it will. Not with a shout, but with evidence. You'll get the acceptance letter, the offer, the message from someone who says, your work changed my life. You'll step on a scale or into a suit or onto a stage, and the world will see what the quiet built. They will ask for the blueprint, and you will tell them the truth. I walked alone, I stayed silent, I kept going. They will nod, some will understand, some won't. Both are okay. You'll go home, put your phone down, and do the same thing tomorrow. Because success didn't happen to you, it grew from you. And when success grows from you, it doesn't make you louder, it makes you deeper. You'll find a peace you can take anywhere. Airports, meetings, weddings, funerals. In rooms where tension vibrates like a wire, you will be the person who breathes and grounds and chooses words like precision tools. Space will open around you because your spirit isn't frantic anymore. People follow peace, not the loudest voice, not the flashiest plan. Peace. Your silence becomes leadership. Your walk becomes an invitation. Your life becomes a lighthouse, not chasing ships, simply standing, shining. And when the old life calls, because it will, you'll smile. You'll be grateful for what it taught you. You'll decline with love. You'll return to the path because you finally understand the most loyal relationship you will ever have is the one with your future. You protect it. You don't cheat on it with temporary pleasures. You don't betray it to satisfy instant approval. You nurture it with days that look quiet and add up loud. The last piece for today, the one people resist the most, is humility. Walking alone is not a solo concert where you're the star and the world is your audience. It's a pilgrimage. On pilgrimages, people walk beside you for a mile or two, then drift away, then reappear years later. You don't own them, they don't own you. You share a section of road with gratitude, then keep going. Your silence is not superiority, it's stewardship. You have been given a life, you are responsible for it. That responsibility will make you soft with people and hard with your patterns. You will apologize quickly. You will forgive often. You will keep standards like a gate around your garden. And when you stumble, and you will not justify it. You will correct course without confetti. Quietly, immediately, forward. If this is resonating, it's because the loud version of you is tired. The version that pleases, performs, and poses is exhausted. Let it rest. Let it die. Let the disciplined, devoted, steady, gentle, relentless version rise. That version does not brag. That version doesn't need a theme song. That version needs a pair of shoes, a plan for the next hour, and respect for the next breath. So we return to the beginning, to the cold truth that started this all. Walk alone, stay silent, not as a slogan, but as a strategy. Not as a temporary cleanse, but as an identity you earn with how you live. And as you step into the next hour of your life, I want you to feel something building, a pressure behind the eyes, a warmth in the chest, a thread of tears that don't mean sadness. They mean permission to leave the noise, permission to trust the work, permission to become the person you've been outsourcing to tomorrow. This is your moment. This is your mile. This is your breath. You ready? Then stand up. Put the phone down, tie the laces, open the page, breathe, start. Don't tell them, don't ask them, don't warn them. Just go. And when they ask where you've been, months from now, years from now, you'll smile and tell the truth in one sentence that holds an entire season inside it. I was training in the quiet. If you're with me, keep walking. In the next breath, we go even deeper into the daily architecture of this life. How to hold your center when people push, how to build momentum that refuses to break, and how to let your silence speak so loudly the world leans in to listen. So let's step through the doorway you just opened and design the daily architecture that holds a quiet life together when the world tries to pull it apart. No fireworks, no manifesto, just a framework that breathes with you. Think of your day as a house with 3 silent rooms. The first is where you build. The second is where you become. The third is where you bless. Build is the work, the craft, the deep making that nobody claps for at 6 a.m. Become is the body and brain, sweat, stretch, study that upgrades the vessel carrying your dream. Bless is the way you serve, the call you return, the kindness you extend, the promise you keep without posting about it. If you touch these 3 rooms every day, even for a few honest minutes, your life stops squeaking and starts humming. Strong doors need quiet hinges. Here's how that looks in real air, real light. Dawn is still undecided. You stand at the window with a warm mug and that clean slate feeling drifting through the kitchen. No music yet. Silence is the metronome. You sit, you breathe, you choose the one thing for each room and you write it down like a vow. Build the client pitch draft, become with 40 minutes of movement and 10 pages of reading, blessed by calling your grandmother or mentoring a younger version of you who thinks they're alone. Whisper it to yourself. Simple, repeatable, real. The phone is still asleep in another room. The world can wait, your future cannot. You will want to tell someone. Sit with that itch. Watch it without scratching. This is one of your first disciplines. Letting excitement simmer without boiling over into performative announcements. You are not hiding. You are concentrating. There is a difference. Chefs don't yell while the bread is rising. They protect the heat. They trust the process. That's you now. Guard the oven. And then you start to work, to lift, to learn. 10 minutes in, resistance arrives dressed as rationality. Check the email so you're not behind later. Tidy the desk first. You deserve a quick dopamine sip. You smile. You see the trick. You return to the line. You write the next sentence. You do the next rep. You underline the next paragraph. That's a miracle, by the way. Not lightning, not thunder, but the quiet miracle of staying with what matters when leaving would feel better. Write this down where you can see it. I do things when they are small. Small is where momentum lives. There will be days you nail it and days you wobble, like a newborn deer on ice. Good. Wobble is data. On the days you wobble, shrink the promise, not the person. Cut the target to size. 5 push-ups instead of 50. 1 paragraph instead of 5 pages. 10 mindful breaths when your mind is a crowded train station. When you keep even the smallest promise in the storm, your brain learns a new truth. I am someone who shows up. That sentence quietly reorganizes everything. Now let's walk into a harder room. The one with old ghosts in the corners. Relationships that love the version of you that performs. Friends who measure closeness by access. Family members who use guilt like currency. You will not fix all of this with a speech. You will not convert the skeptics with a lecture. You will practice a new language. Gentle boundaries. It sounds like, I won't be able to make it, and nothing after that. It sounds like, I'm offline in the mornings, and your phone actually is. It sounds like, I'm focusing on something important right now. Then a change of subject. People who love your health will adjust. People who love your availability more than your destiny will protest. Let them. You are not hard. You are clear. You can be kind and non-negotiable at the same time. When they say, why are you so serious? You will hear the truth beneath the tease. Your focus reveals their drift. You don't have to fix their drift. You don't have to drown to prove you're a friend. You can toss the rope of your example and keep walking the shoreline. They will join you when they're ready. Some never will. Both are love. The loudest lie the world tells is that belonging must be bought with self-betrayal. No, real belonging begins the moment you stop auditioning. There's something you should know about silence that no one teaches in school. It's not empty, it's echo. When you finally turn the volume down, you hear the messages you've been running from. Grief you never grieved, praise you never accepted, fear wearing 100 different masks. This part is holy. It will feel like weakness to sit with it. It's not. It's writing your name on your own life. Let the tears come without explaining them. Let the memories rise without curating them for a crowd. Healing is not a viral reel. It's a room with one chair, one lamp, and the courage to stay. When you do, the monsters under the bed turn back into clothes on the floor. The boogeyman becomes data. You realize, I wasn't lazy, I was scared, and fear that is named loses half its teeth. Now you're ready for the walk itself, the literal one. I want you to take your body outside, morning, lunch break, sunset, stitch one to your day so tightly it becomes part of your identity. No podcasts sometimes, no inputs, just footsteps as punctuation. This is where you replay the day like a film editor. What served you? What drained you? What will you amplify tomorrow? What will you subtract? The best leaders schedule subtraction. Subtract to scale. Remove one commitment that flatters but doesn't feed. Remove one tab, one app, one recurring call that lives on your calendar like a squatter. Make room for oxygen. Make room for mastery. Make room for your future to sit down and stay a while. Stories carry the lesson deeper than rules. So come with me. A nurse on night shifts deciding to reclaim mornings that don't technically exist. She can't wake up early like the books say, but she can create a ritual. 20 minutes of stretching when her apartment is quiet and the city is in a different dream. She leaves a note to herself by the sink. You are worth scheduling. Then drinks water while the kettle hums. She studies for the certification exam in 30-minute slices. No witnesses, no applause, only a paper calendar filling with honest X's. She fails a practice test. She panics. She walks. She returns to the desk. She passes the next one. Months later, she pins the certification to a corkboard above her plants, texts one friend, calls her mother, then goes for her walk. Evidence, not fireworks. A delivery rider, helmet hair and cracked phone, tired of being treated like a ghost. He wants to build a portfolio, but his day is a patchwork. He pockets index cards with prompts he handwrote at 2 a.m. Between stops, he drafts lines. Parked under a tree, he reads for 8 minutes. Not 30, not a perfect hour, just 8. He sends a pitch on his lunch break using a template he refined in silence. A template that feels like him, not a scammy script. Rejections roll in. He prints the first maybe and tapes it to the wall. He rides, he writes. One afternoon, someone says yes. He doesn't post a screenshot. He adds a new card to his pocket. Keep the gate. 2 years later, people say, overnight. He smiles and hands them the stack of dog-eared cards, rain-stained, coffee-marked, stubborn. My overnight took 730 days. A mother building a side business at the kitchen table after dishes, after homework, after the kind of day that steals language. She lights a candle. She opens a spreadsheet. She plans her next week in tiny, honest boxes. 20 minutes to source materials, 15 to photograph, 10 to write captions in her notes app and save them as drafts. When the baby cries, she chooses love. When the house quiets again, she returns. She is not behind. She is faithful. Faithfulness compounds. 1 year later, the orders outgrow the dining table. She doesn't owe anyone a montage. She owes herself a moment to look around and whisper, we did this. Then wash her hands and put on the kettle. Notice the pattern? No saviors, no speeches, just people who learn to keep their word in the quiet and let the math of consistency perform its slow, unsexy magic. This is where you live now, not in someday, in the boring, beautiful loop. Let's talk cravings, because silence exposes them. The itch to check the app when the sentence gets hard. The need to snack when your heart feels heavy. The habit of shopping when you don't want to feel. These are not moral failures. They are misdirected signals. Feed the signal, not the substitute. If you're lonely, call someone who has earned your trust, not the chaos friend who loves the drama more than your peace. If you're tired, sleep, don't scroll. If you're anxious, breathe and move your body for 60 seconds. Walk the stairs, step outside, do anything that reminds your nervous system you're not trapped. Build a tiny menu of honest replacements and tape it to your wall. When the urge hits, you don't debate with emotion. You follow a pre-made promise. Pre-make the decision while you're strong so you can follow it when you're weak. And when you break your rule, and you will refuse the binge spiral that steals months. You will say, that's data, and go take a shower, hydrate, breathe, and return. Recovery without drama is a superpower. The quiet life is not the perfect life, it's the corrected one. Quick forgiveness is rocket fuel. Criticism will arrive right on time, not just from others, from you. That inner prosecutor who soundtracks your day with not enough, not fast, not special. You will not fight it with toxic positivity. You will answer with evidence. Evidence you created. Pages written, miles walked, meals cooked, conversations had, classes completed, rests taken. I did what I said I would do is the most effective sentence against shame I've ever heard. Build evidence daily and store it where you can see it. Not for the internet, for the courtroom in your head. Some of you are thinking, but what about opportunity? Silence means I'll be overlooked. No, silence means your signal gets cleaner. You're not hiding in a cave. You're building a lighthouse. Light does not beg ships to notice. It shines. It's visible because it's consistent, because it's there every night. Same hill, same circle of glass, turning steadily. Be the lighthouse, visible from miles away, not because you scream, but because you refuse to stop being what you are. Now the piece that will save you when you start winning, humility. Success will try to make you loud again. People will start asking for your time in 100 charming ways. Your calendar will become a battlefield. You must keep the posture that built the building. You open your mouth less and your notebook more. You don't mistake opportunity for obligation. You don't trade the habit that delivered you here for the invitations that might deliver you away. If you expand your rituals first. Longer walks, deeper play with your kids, slower meals, earlier bedtimes, more pages. Protect the roots when the branches get heavy. Trees that forget their roots tumble in ordinary wind. Let's rehearse the day that tries to shake you. Alarm fails, commute snarls, boss snaps, a comment stings. The plan is bleeding out. You will not declare it ruined. You will declare it salvageable. You will search for a hinge. 10 good minutes. 10 minutes of ruthless focus applied to whatever part of your build, become, bless, still breathes. 10 minutes is not a scrap. It's a seed. Plant it, and your nervous system will whisper, we didn't lose ourselves. The day is not binary. You can lose a chunk and still protect the story. I want to give you a script for conversations that once swallowed you whole. When someone pushes your boundary, you can answer, it's just one call. You breathe, you soften your shoulders, you say, I hear you. I'm not available this morning. I can circle back after 3. Then silence. The urge to explain will come like a tide. Let it pass. You are not a defendant. You are a steward of your finite hours. You can be loving without being leaky. What about the seductive myth that says real winners don't need rest? It's a lie with a shiny suit. Rest is not a reward for finishing, it's a requirement for continuing. Rest is part of the set, not an offstage nap. Build it in on purpose. Real rest, the kind that cleans the lens. Sleep that isn't negotiated. Stretch instead of scroll. A day with shoes off and laughter loud. You will feel guilty at first because the world taught you to worship exhaustion. Let that guilt dissolve like sugar in tea. Exhaustion isn't a trophy, it's a warning. Here's something surprising. The deeper you go into silence, the funnier you'll get. I mean it. When your nervous system isn't clinging to approval for oxygen, you find you're weird again. You start telling odd little jokes to yourself in the kitchen. You dance while chopping carrots. You sing to your dog, and he judges you kindly. Joy returns through the side door when you stop auditioning. People will feel it like good weather. Peace is magnetic. Joy is persuasive. You won't have to sell your transformation. It will sell itself. So where does all this take you? To a life with realistic weight and gorgeous stamina. A life where you no longer need to shock your system with impossible goals just to feel alive. You live by rhythms instead of hype. You move like someone who trusts time. You become hard to distract and easy to inspire. And this isn't just philosophy. It's the exact texture of your next 90 days. Yes, 90. Long enough to change the scaffolding, short enough to feel the finish line tugging your sleeve. Day 1 begins when you stop telling people about day 1. If this is landing in your chest, do something physical with it. Stand, stretch, shake out your hands. Whisper the promise to yourself so softly, only your bones hear it. I will walk, I will work, I will wait. That is not a cute mantra, that is a contract. And contracts don't need comment sections to be binding. Before we close, I want you to meet your future self, not the cartoon version, the real one. Clothes fit differently because they were chosen with intention, not panic. Eyes kinder because sleep became sacred. Phone quieter because not every vibration gets a vote. Work deeper because you traded commentary for craft. There's a grace in the way they move through rooms. They don't need to be the center, they carry their own. They live inside a calendar that feels like a promise kept. They built this by being boring on purpose for a very long time. They built it by saying not now to 1,000 good things, so they could say yes to the few that mattered. Walk toward them. They are not far. They are the next honest morning. And now, the invitation that keeps the momentum alive without snapping the spell. If this message found you in the middle of a noisy life and gave you a quiet place to stand, stay with me. We do this together in our separate rooms. Tap subscribe so this voice finds you when the world gets loud again. Tap like, not as a charity, but as a vote for the life you're building. Share it with one person, the one who needs a lighthouse more than a lecture. And when this ends, don't tumble back into the feed. Roll straight into the next video, waiting for you here. Another brick for your quiet house. Keep your feet moving while your mouth stays soft. Keep walking, keep building, keep becoming. We're not done. There is one more layer we haven't unwrapped. The edge where silence meets bold action. Because staying quiet does not mean staying small. It means striking precisely. It means stepping when others are still discussing. It means being the person who uses the door while everyone else argues about the color of the paint. Start applying for the thing. Start recording the course. Start filing the paperwork. Start learning the language. Start the first session. Don't assemble a committee of opinions. Assemble your courage. Your future doesn't need a focus group. It needs a witness. Let it be you. There will be whispers. Who do you think you are? You answer in deeds. You answer in dawns. You answer in the soft clatter of dishes in a clean sink and a tidy desk that doesn't beg for chaos. You answer by showing up to the tiny class on Thursday night while your friends chase a happily ever after that's leased by the hour. You answer with long exhale decisions, moving your body when your mood throws a tantrum, setting your fork down when you're full, closing the laptop at a sane hour because tomorrow needs your energy more than tonight needs your ego. Every small answer writes a loud paragraph over time. Let me hand you a sentence that loosens knots. I am allowed to be new at this. You don't have to roar out of the gate like a legend. Legends look clumsy at the start. Watch a violinist tuning before a concert. Their face soft, their hand patient, the string protesting while it stretches to pitch. That's you. Tune without shame. Tune in public if you must. Silence doesn't mean you never make a sound. It means you refuse to make your insecurity the soundtrack. As the weeks gather, something strange happens. People begin to ask for your perspective. You will be tempted to turn into a pundit. Resist. Speak like a builder. Short sentences. More questions than declarations. What have you tried? How did that feel? Want to walk with me at 6? Your life becomes a quiet invitation instead of a loud instruction. That's leadership, not a megaphone, a magnet.
The question always arrives around now. How do I know I'm on the right path? You probably want a mystical sign. You'll get a mundane one. Your days begin to rhyme. You recognize yourself in your calendar. The gap between your values and your behavior shrinks. You sleep more, you argue less, you are gentler with toddlers and cashiers, you stop narrating your life to people who aren't paying attention, you feel an inner nod during your walks, the kind you can't counterfeit. That's direction, that's enough. If you break, if grief knocks you flat, if illness melts your scaffolding, if layoff or betrayal or a phone call at 2 a.m. takes the air from the room, remember this: you are allowed to crawl. You are allowed to do 1/10 of what you planned. You are allowed to sit with a friend in a parked car and say nothing for an hour. You are allowed to cry in the bathroom at work and pretend your allergies are acting up. You are allowed to be human while you are heroic. The quiet path has room for your tears. Put your hand on your own chest and remind the frantic animal inside, I'm here. That's also walking. And when you can stand again, even shakily, you return to the rooms. Build one small thing, become with one small act, bless with one small kindness. The structure you built is there to hold you, not just to impress you. Sooner or later, there comes a day when the silence breaks on its own. An acceptance letter, a client signature, a healthy lab result. A doorway opens because you knocked consistently, not violently. When it happens, don't sprint past it like it's normal. Stop, step outside, put your face in the sun. Say thank you to God, to time, to your stubborn feet, to the teachers who loved you, to the critics who accidentally trained